everybody, welcome to the Black Sheep Props channel. I'm Steve and I'm here to teach you the tips, tools, techniques, and materials for building your very own super cool EVA foam props. Now in our last build we went video game slash collectible slash racing when we built Hatsune Miku's racing staff. Now if you missed that build, we're going to include the link to our channel's homepage in the description below so you can go there and check out racing staff or any of the other super cool builds we have there. But for this build, we're going to go sci-fi. So without further ado, Black Sheep Props would like to introduce you to the newest member of the family. Woo! Yeah! Look at that monster. It is a District 9 blaster. Actually, it's a District 9 concept blaster because this isn't really from the movie. This is a cool concept weapon for District 9 created by a guy named Tim Jester. Saw it online, had to build it. Timmy, this thing rocks, dude. Thank you very much for the inspiration. I wanted to make this thing real life in 3D, so this one's for you, Tim. Look at that thing, man. Monstrous. Tons of foam. Super thick foam. Look at that, man. Wow, that's thick stuff. Tons of layering. Tons of edges, tons of angles, tons of overhangs, tons of little recesses everywhere. Wow, man, this thing's cool. And as you can tell, the jammin', banged up, scratched up, distressed, battle damage technique. Black, white, and orange, and gouges and scratches all over the thing, man. And we have a template for this too, so if you want to build along with us, we'll include the link to our storefront in the description below. If you want to go pick up a template and build along with us, you can. So, in this episode, making an EVA foam District 9 blaster part 1, we're going to begin going step by step, and there's a lot of steps through building this massive thing. So, enough of me flapping my gums. I'm going to shut it. If you're ready to hit it, let's make something. Alright, here we go. Here is the start of this massive blaster build from District 9. Now we're going to be layering up, so we're going to separate these 4mm pieces first. Alright, there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start bulking up. Okay, now we've got this big, giant 24mm piece of foam. Okay, there we go. Now, before we start gluing this down, we're going to take our 4mm piece. All right, there we go. That easy. Now we're just going to knock the rest of these out. Okay, now we're going to come in with our brass tube, and we're going to poke the holes out on the ends of these pieces. Okay, just like that. See that? It slips right through there as long as your tube is sharpened. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to line up edge of circle to edge of circle, just like this. Right here, we're going to come in right to the edge like that. We're going to do the same thing on this side from edge of circle to edge of circle, and we're going to pop it out just like that and do it for all of them. Alright, there you go. Every once in a while you get a tiny little hiccup where your circle cut meets your straight cut, but not a big deal. Alright, there we go. There is our 4mm piece cut out. We're going to bring our huge piece back in. All right, we're going to line this up. All right, there we go. You know the drill. Let both sides dry and then they can make contact. Right there. We got our cool little recesses in there. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, now in comes another super thick piece. This is an 1.5 inch thick piece of foam. This is a big, giant, chunky 36 millimeter. Okay, now we're gonna bring this back in and we're gonna attach that to this. So let's see, how can we get the best use of our piece of foam? All right, we're gonna go through the process of contact cementing all this. Takes a while, but we got it all down. All right. Wow, that's 2.5 inches thick. That's a monster. All right, now what we're gonna do is we are gonna take this over to the bandsaw. Whew, and we're gonna cut this whole piece out. Look at that thing, man. Wow. All right, so there is the bulk of our crazy blaster. All right, now we're gonna flip this around and we're gonna bring back in this piece and we're gonna cut it out and we're gonna attach it to this side. All right, we cemented. Now this one's gonna be a little bit scary. All right, and this is why. We need to line this stuff up on the outer edges perfectly, but we have to keep all the rest of it lifted up because we don't want it sticking down. All right, we're going to line up along the edge. Now what you need to do here as you're going down is you need to line your edge up at the bottom so that we're flush, because we want it completely lined up at the bottom while we're keeping everything else raised up. All right, now see how I got this up on my arm over here, just like that. Keep it up. All right, now we're going to get our corner perfectly lined up right there. All right, now let's spin this around. And we're going to line this corner up. Now we're going to have to line every corner up as we go. So we're going to be doing some bending and some squishing, which is okay. Let's line up right along the edge. Okay, we're having to do some bending here, but that's all right. Okay, we're lining up at the bottom edge here and the top edge. All right, we got our edge down here. We're going to line up right at that corner. And we're going to stretch. All right, see that? That was a flat out, straight up throw down with the foam. You gotta bend it, you gotta stretch it, you gotta contract it, you gotta really fight it, man, to lay it down perfectly on the edge. All right. Man, that is giant and insane. Wow. All right, here we go. We're going to follow the exact same steps for these pieces. We're going to poke out our holes, cut out our window, stick it down, then cut it out, and then attach this to the other side. But what you need to see first is, look at how thick this is. 3.5 inches thick. Good grief. We've got a 36, a 36, and a 12. So we're going to bulk this up. All right, there we go. Check that out. Man, that's a honking piece of foam right there. Woo, 3 3/4 inches. Holy smokes. All right, here we go. We're gonna do the exact same steps we just did twice. We're gonna do 2 4mm pieces. We're gonna poke out the holes. We're going to sandwich the 2 4mm pieces on this thick 36mm piece to make up our handle. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna cut out our 2 holes and then stick this piece down to here. All right, there we go. Nice. All right, we're gonna zip over to the bandsaw and knock this out real quick. All right. Man, I love the bandsaw, and a little bit of the scroll saw in there too. All right, so now we're gonna flip this around. We're gonna take this piece and cut it out and stick it on there. Perfect. There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, now we've got our 4mm pieces of foam that are going to be part of the hand grip. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to bevel the edge of this. All right, there we go. Look at that, a nice tapered edge all the way around both pieces. That is nice. All right, let's seal it first, just to tighten up those edges. Now we're going to line up our edge nice and flush. Just like... All right, there we go. That's perfect in there. Pretty darn close. We're going to be going in there with a Dremel anyway, but that's pretty darn close. All right, now let's do this side. All right, here is a 24mm piece. We're going to be cutting it, and it's going to be sitting right on the back of here. So we're going to knock that out on the bandsaw real quick. I'll line it up. We're going to get it pushed down in the corner real tight. There you go. That's all it took, was a tiny little sliver. We slipped it in there in the back. Look at that. That is nice. All right. All right, now we're going to come in with this simple little 24mm piece that's going to go on the bottom right here. Real simple. We're going to knock this out on the bandsaw real quick. All right, so what we're going to do though, before we stick that down, is we're going to soften these edges up with the Dremel. All right, but first, we're going to come in with these 12mm pieces. These are going to be going on the side right here. So we're going to cut these out also on the bandsaw. And maybe... All right, check that out. Beautiful. That's going to come up. It's going to line up right here at the top like this with this piece of the blaster. Wow, that is cool. And then it's going to lay down right around this window like this. All right. Okay, we've got our dust mask on. We're going to come in and we're going to round the edges of this off, and we're going to do some dremeling on these two pieces. All right, so we're going to come in. All right, there we go. We soften the edge up just a little bit, all right? What? Oh, we messed up. We dremeled the wrong side. We don't want this bottom end to have rounded corners, but this thing is going to be so big, no one's probably ever really going to notice that. All right, there we go. Nice. See that cool rounded off edge? Now what we weren't supposed to do is we weren't supposed to round this edge. See how it's got kind of like a little rounded edge up here at the top? But like I said, it's at the bottom, and this thing's going to be massively huge, so no one's ever really going to notice that. But there you go. Nice. Let's put our dust mask back on. All right, here we go. Now we're going to line up at this front edge right here. This is the critical part right here. All right, because we want it to match up perfectly so this looks like it's part of it. All right, so we're going to get this corner right on the money, and this other corner right on the money. There we go. We're going to lean over, make sure we're lined up on the inside. Okay, so not only do we have to line up these corners out here, but we have to line up in here too. All right, there. And then we're going to put this down there. All right, there we go. Once again, you can't just drop it down. You have to muscle it in, stretch it, line it up. All right, perfect. Okay, now what we did is this, is we're lined up right here, which is the most important thing. So this looks like it's part of this. And then we also had to line up all the way around this inside edge, and we did it. So we're looking good. Okay, now we're going to take this next piece. We're going to take a 24 and an 18 millimeter and attach it together. Okay, now these are going to be part of the same assembly. So we're going to take a 24, a leftover piece of 24, and a leftover piece of 12, and we're going to attach those together as well. And all this is going to go together. All right, this is ready. Now, okay, now we're going to come in with these 4 millimeter pieces, and we're going to cut them both out. And we're going to keep this outside guideline, because that's important. All right, there we go. Now we're going to take this over to the bandsaw real quick, and we're going to knock out these lines. All right, there we go. Both sides of the piece and our sides. No. All right, now we're going to cut these both out on the bandsaw. All right, there we go. Look at that, man. That is nice. All right, now we're going to do something else on here, but before we do that, we're going to knock this one out also. Nice. Okay, now what we're going to do is this. We took this little mark right here. That's a 3/16 inch mark, okay? Actually, almost a quarter. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Just like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this over to the bandsaw, and we're going to tilt our table slightly, and we're going to follow this silver line through because we want to knock off a bevel on both corners. All right? All right, there we go. Look at that. We've got a little bevel here and here. Now, when we come in and we set this on here, look what we're going to have. Look. All right, just like that. We're going to have this cool little recessed step right in there. Look at that. Nice. All right, there we go. Give it a couple minutes and then bam, contact. All right, we're going to center it. Now remember what we always say, don't just drop it down. Come to like that. There we go. There we go, look at that. Now we've got that cool little angled recess right there on both sides. Really cool. All right, this is gonna come in and sit right in there like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this out on the bandsaw. All right, there we go. Now this is gonna come in and it's gonna sit right here in the middle, centered like that. And it's gonna match up down here and on this angle. That is cool. All right, now we're gonna prepare these little pieces that are gonna go onto this. All right, so let's make some marks and then we will do all these little details twice. Okay, we've got all of our pieces ready. All right, we've got a 24 millimeter piece. We've got a 3 millimeter and a 2 millimeter, and we've got some little tiny rivets that we popped out with a brass tube from one of our other builds. All right, and what we can also see that we've done here is we drew a line at the bottom and we made our 4 marks on both sides. All right, now we're going to come in first with this 3 millimeter piece, and we're going to separate these right here. All right, we're going to cut these windows out right here. All right, there we go. Now we're going to be sticking this down to this 2mm piece. All right, but before we do that, we're going to come in here. We have our lines marked for our 4 little strips. So we're going to make our cuts using our dots that we drew on there. Just like that. And then over to this side, and just like that. All right, now we're going to cut just outside of the window. Nice little detail, little recessed area there. All right. Line up with our mark. All right, we're going to center it right over our mark. And we're going to lay it down just like that. All right, we're going to grab a little rivet. We're going to get the bottom of it wet. And right in the middle. All right, there we go. Check it out. That's exactly what we wanted right there. All right, now we're going to duplicate this piece again for right here, only it's going to have a square edge on it for right there. And then we're going to do all of it again for that side. All right, there we go, both sides. Now we have our line marked in the middle. We're going to attach this. There we go. We're going to bend it. And we're going to line up. All right, now we're going to, okay, we've got good contact back here at the end and at the base. Now we're going to make sure this is centered and flush at the top, just like that. All right, look at that. Flush here, contact at the bottom, and contact against the front edge of this. All right. Look at that. Really complex looking, but not hard to build. Wow, cool. All right. Wow. Nice. All right, there we go. Wow, man. You saw us shape out the whole body, you saw us shape out the handle, and you saw us shape out this whole top center body piece here. Lots of work. We're got a ton more to go, but so far so good and so easy. You saw how easy this was, like all of our builds. Very easy stuff. Man, just take your time, be careful, line stuff up carefully, and you're golden. That's it, man. That concludes making an EVA foam District 9 Blaster Part 1. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a like, share us with a friend, and subscribe to this channel. And together we're going to go step by step through a lot more super cool builds so that you get the props you deserve. Thanks for coming. See you next time.